Hi all, Elliot here. Now this is a follow-up video to my home network tour that I did a couple of years ago. Now this is the heart of my network, what you're seeing, and it is in my hallway cupboard. Now on the top left here we have my main NAS box from QNAP. It is a QNAP TS453A with 8 gigs of RAM. The drive configuration is 4 6TB Western Digital Red Pro drives in RAID 6 for a total usable capacity of 10.9 TB. In the middle here we have my Samsung SmartThings Home Automation Hub. Then on the right we have my old NAS box that you saw in a previous home network tour. This is an AS5004T and this has got 1 gig of RAM in it now. It's got a single 4TB Western Digital Red Pro drive in it as well, although I don't normally use this NAS box and have only got it turned on for this video. The reason I got a new NAS box, the QNAP, was because this one, at least at the time when I got the QNAP, didn't support snapshots, hence I couldn't restore previous versions of files from within Windows, but the QNAP does support it, so it creates snapshots every 3 hours, and then within Windows I can restore a file using the previous version tab within File Explorer. For the items in the rack itself, on the top we have my home built server, what is running Windows Server 2016 Essentials. The CPU is a Xeon E3-1245V5. It's got 32 gigs of DDR4 ECC RAM, and the drives inside of it, you've got a 256GB enterprise SSD for the boot drive, a 1TB 10K RPM hard drive for Blue Iris, what is for CCTV purposes, and then it's got a 10TB 7200 RPM hard drive acting as a backup to my NAS box. It's also worth noting that in terms of the network connections, both my NAS box and my rack server have both got two 1 gig links to my switch running in 802.3 AD link aggregation. My server's also got a further 1 gig link for Hyper-V purposes, as I've got a couple of VMs on my server as well. Now my server's also got an out-of-bound management, although the OS can't actually access that. So that concludes my server. So my server's got 3 links on the back, 2 for the link aggregation, 1 for the out-of-bound management, and then the one on the front for the Hyper-V. Below my server I have my 24 port Cat6 patch panel. Port 1 through 7 are for the NAS boxes and my server. Port 8 through 10 are the bedrooms. Port 11 and 12 are the wireless access points. Ports 13 through 17 are the IP cams outside, although port 17 is not currently used and is for future access. Port 18 is the Samsung SmartThings hub, and then port 23 and 24 go to my Draytech Vigor 2860 router, what are the WAN links. Below my Cat6 patch panel we have my main switch, what is a Draytech Vigor P2261 PoE switch. Now the PoE devices are the 2 access points as well as the 4 IP cams outside. Everything else is not using PoE. Now this is only a 1 gig switch, so I'm considering in the future replacing this with a D-Link DGS 3000-28XMP, as that switch has 4 10 gig SFP plus ports. Although for now this switch is working fine for my needs. It's just unfortunately it doesn't have any 10 gig ports. And then right at the bottom here we have my, as I said, Draytech Vigor 2860 router. Regarding the WAN links here, the grey and the yellow cable, the grey cable is for the guest access and the yellow cable is for my private everyday internet access. So essentially they go from the switch to the patch panel, then out the back of the patch panel to the router. And that pretty much concludes my network cabinet. It's also worth mentioning that above the cabinet, right at the top here at the back, I have a UPS what powers all of this and protects it in event of a power outage. But that pretty much concludes the network for this part of the house. Of course, got a monitoring keyboard and mouse for my server as well. Anyhow, I shall now move into the kitchen where I shall continue my home network tour. We are now in the kitchen, and first off I have one of my wireless access points, which is a Dratec AP902. Now it is turned on, it is just that I've got the lights disabled by its configuration. This is fed from a network socket in the wall behind the TV, what then of course is fed from the PoE switch that I showed you earlier. This access point then feeds this 8-port unmanaged gigabit switch here, what in turn feeds the Hive Hub, my home theatre PC, the TV, Blu-ray player and Shumax set-top box. Ignore these two switches here, these are unused and are only kept in case should this switch or any other switch that I have break down, so they're just spare. My home theatre PC is an i3 CPU, it's got 8 gigs of RAM, a 256GB SSD, as well as a quad tuner TV card so I can record 4 programs at once from this onto my NAS box. Of course here I also have an Amazon Echo Dot. And then lastly, it's worth noting that I normally have a Belkin UPS here, however the other day I noticed it was extremely hot and when I turned it off everything just failed immediately. The UPS powers everything except the TV and the access point, of course, which is powered from the PoE switch that I showed you earlier. Anyhow, this pretty much concludes the network for the kitchen. Of course, I am eventually going to replace the batteries in the UPS and put it back in here, as of course that powers, as I said, everything but the TV and access point. I don't generally really want to have my HTPC go off in a power outage, as I'd have to boot it back up again and unlock it by BitLocker, as I have BitLocker on all my devices. Anyhow, I shall now take you upstairs where I shall show you the other access point, which is identical to this one, as well as my Oki LED printer. We are now upstairs in the room where the other access point is, and you can see part of it, the aerial, sticking up over there. I also have a PTZ IP cam on the ceiling there, as well as my Oki MC342DN LED printer, as I mentioned earlier. It's also a fax machine. Anyway, that pretty much concludes my network tour for 2018. The PTZ IP camera up there is powered by a plug that is behind there, what you cannot see, what in turn is fed from the UPS downstairs, what I mentioned earlier. That is the UPS above my network cabinet. Anyhow, if you've got any comments about my network setup, then just leave a comment in the video. Anyway, until next time, can I say thanks for watching and goodbye.